everybody. We are back for episode 25 of the Symptoms Podcast. It's going to be kind of a slower paced podcast. Both Andrew and I have had one hell of a work week. Mail's been crazy for him. Helicopter at Blade Building been crazy for me. It's just all gone to hell for this 1 week. So we're going to slow down, try to be a shorter episode. We're going to get to simple shout outs. I guess we have results from the poll. We have a couple emails that I was already kind of tipped off to earlier in the week. We're gonna do a couple catch-ups. Andrew did something fun with his kids. I'm kind of having some fun at work when I can. History with Jefe, sometimes news, jokes with Jefe, the simple stuff. But since the bulk of our episode are going to be about soccer and music, well, we decided to call this Balls and Beats. So let's get to it.
All right, episode 25. I'm not feeling alive.
Not at all. Neither one of us.
Marcelo, a.k.a. El Jefe, I must say, I'm not feeling it at all.
No, I don't think either one of us
I'm tired.
Really.
I've been overworked.
Yeah.
It's Saturday.
Yep.
This is the latest we've ever started recording.
Is it? Because I feel like we might have started one of them at like 11 or like 11:30.
It's 10:55.
Okay, so we're pretty close to it then. Okay.
So
if anything,
if we sound off, you listeners, it's because we've been working like mad, and we're tired, and it's late. But we are going to give you the best show we could possibly give you in our tired state of mind.
I mean, you've worked all day, and you would think that given that I finally got a Saturday off, I would be like, rested and no, I don't want to say I pushed myself, but I did kickboxing workout in the morning at 9, which I kind of was a little late for, but they don't mind it. I just missed a simple warm up. Then I did the sauna after for another hour, and then went home. Tried to relax, but I had to get laundry done. So, I mean, it was...
You gotta do that laundry.
Yeah, from like 7 a.m. to like...
There's only so many times you could wear the same pair of underwear.
Exactly. Because
maybe 2 times?
You wear it the right way, and then you could fold it inside out. And then... No, what was it? No, it was you wear it the right way, you wear it backwards, and then you wear it... right way folded inside out and backwards folded inside. So that's 4 times, and then you got to throw them away. So
then you got to burn them.
Yeah, probably. Yeah. So, so even on my days off, it's like I only get like Sundays like to be able to do like nothing, So,
Marcel, remember when we were young
and we had all the energy and will to live?
We tried to squeeze everything in one day. We did tennis.
Oh yeah,
we did the gym.
Volleyball.
We did gym together, right?
For a while,
like Bally when it was Bally's.
Yeah, when it was Bally's. Yeah,
we did tennis. Yeah. We did gym.
We would do either beach volleyball or indoor volleyball at either Peck Park or Gardena Valley.
One of those 2 places.
Yeah.
And then what? Skateboard at night.
And then we would skate at night. Yeah.
And now it's like, man,
just the thought of going to the gym and doing cardio is like. We got to do that next time. Like, I don't know. Like, I'll be honest. Like,
did you skip leg day?
I never skipped leg day.
Oh, okay.
I never did.
All right.
But I'll be honest. I mean, even though I do the kickboxing classes 4 to 5 times a week, I still like each night. I'm like, I don't know if I want to even go. Like, I just
But it's one of those things where you're like, I don't want to do it. I don't need it. And then you finally go and you're like, I'm glad I came. I'm glad I went. Most
of the time, yeah. But last week I wasn't really feeling it at all. Like, I mean, last week work fucking killed me every day for like Monday, Saturday actually, because that's actually the start of our week. Saturday to Friday was just hell. But I think last week I only went Monday, Thursday, and then today, Saturday. So I skipped Tuesday, Wednesday, which usually isn't like me. I usually do Mondays and Wednesdays because there's also a stretch class after. So it's like you get like this amped for the kickboxing, and then the stretch class slows everything down, mellows out, and it's not a yoga class. It's like just stretching, but it's like a good way to end everything. I usually go for those all the time, but I couldn't do it. I ended up just vegging out every time I got home. Like I think I would get out, take my boots off, and not realize that I took a 2-hour nap until like it was like 7:00 at night.
Dang, at least you have time for a nap. I wish I had time for a nap.
Not planned. I mean, it wasn't like I was planned to take a nap. It just like happened. So,
man, I worked like a 12-hour day today.
Oh, really?
And it was just the worst. The worst part about it was it rained.
Did it rain?
We had scattered showers here in Redondo Beach.
Because over in Lomita, it missed. It was almost like. You know, like when you drive through fog or a cloud, there's like a little mist to it. Not really like a heavy like rain.
Yeah,
that's kind of how it was when I woke up in the morning to head to kickboxing, and when I got back, it was kind of the same thing. But I remember I went upstairs, sat down, ate something, and then like about an hour or two later, I went outside to do laundry, and the ground was like soaked. But we didn't hear any rain. We didn't see any rain, like nothing. It was weird. It was like just
scattered showers.
Yeah. So
every now and then, a little burst of rain.
And I think we're getting more like Tuesday or Wednesday of this week. So.
Oh, I'm not looking forward to that.
Well, it's smaller percentages, so.
And
I think the bigger storms might be done with, but who knows?
Well, Marcelo, I think we should get on to the show because one. Hear me out. I had my coffee in the morning with a shot of espresso. In the evening, to help me finish my last 2 hours of mail delivering, I had a Nas zero sugar energy drink.
That's the energy drink I've never had.
And then I like it.
Okay.
And you see me sipping my coffee
again. Yeah.
So I think I am in the middle of crashing. So we got to get this ball rolling. Ball rolling. Get it?
Balls. Yeah. Balls.
All right.
Balls.
Well, what's first on the list, Marcelo?
Well, it's I would say the thing we do all the time, but it's not really all the time. It's what we've been doing recently. Simple Time Shoutouts.
Yeah, Simple Time Shoutouts. Well, we do have an email from our biggest fan, slowly becoming my favorite fan.
Which one is that?
Oh, your mother.
Oh, okay.
But before I get to that one, because gotta save the best for last, we need to go over the poll that we had on Spotify
and remind me, what was the poll again?
So, just to go over how our polls work,
because I clearly don't listen to the episodes on time.
So we're gonna try this new thing on Spotify since we are putting this show up on Spotify as our main platform. And if you are on Spotify, you can go to our like show notes area, like the about the show section, and underneath you'll see a poll. And I think we should try to do these on every episode just to make things more interactive. And you can vote. You have a certain amount of time to put in your vote, but vote on a poll. And so the poll from the previous episode was this: if Valentine's Day lands on a weekday and you have a date, when do you celebrate? And the options were on Valentine's Day or on the weekend. Guess which one won?
I'm going to assume the weekend.
The weekend won. So everybody is pretty unanimous on that one.
Okay.
Why do you think that is? Why do you think people wait for the weekend? Like, it's not Valentine's Day, day, but
I think it's probably just easier on the schedules. I'd like to think that most people probably get weekends off, or it's like, I mean, I'm going to assume that probably majority of the people get at least Sunday off. Of course, except they're working at grocery stores or retail or stuff like that. But and I think that it's Saturday nights you can kind of extend the hours, and most restaurants, I believe, even extend their hours most on the weekends. So, except for Seal Beach. Seal Beach closes. My mom and I were talking about this just last night, that most restaurants in Seal Beach close like 9:30, 10 o'clock the latest, even on a weekend. And I'm like, I get that it's like a slower, smaller town, but I would expect them to at least stay open till like 11, maybe midnight, but
maybe the residents want a quiet beach town.
But that's the thing, is that it still is quiet. Like, even when it's like middle of the day, like, it's still pretty quiet. So I don't know, it's just odd. It's just kind of a something that you don't really see in a small town, I guess.
Yeah, I think you're right about that. That is odd. So moving on to the next Simple Time shout-outs.
Okay.
We got an email, my favorite. And for those of you listening, please write to us. And if you have any sort of questions, comments, or any topics you want to talk about, email us at simpletimespodcast@gmail.com. And you know what, Marcel, I have this idea. I want to put this out there. I think our listeners can add to our show. Like, I want this to be like a main thing about the show is not just me and Marcelo, although it is me and Marcelo because, I mean, it's in the...
I don't see anybody else here in Beach House Studios.
Well, true. But...
Oh, wait, hold on. I see someone over there.
What?
Andrew, Elmo back.
Oh.
I come tickle you.
Elmo, how did you escape?
You can't keep Elmo down forever.
Elmo, I'm trying to do a show.
On my way out.
Elmo, I had this bright idea. Can you please go away?
I come over tickle myself then.
Tickle yourself. I don't care. Just good.
Well, me, you, and Elmo, I guess, are the podcast. But
I guess. So, do we have to pay him?
You're paying him?
Well,
I didn't know you were paying him. Shoot, maybe that's why he's sticking around. I stopped feeding him, so I mean, I was trying to get him to go.
How's he still alive then?
I have no idea. I don't know how Elmos work.
Email us and be part of the show. This show is not just me and Marcel, but it can be you too. All you have to do is email us. So here's an example. So Marcelo's mom emailed us. It's a pretty lengthy email, but this is good. This is good stuff.
She gave me a heads up about it. Yeah.
So Mrs. Ann, she wanted to clarify something from the previous episode. She
wanted to clarify the birth names.
The birth names.
Mm-hmm.
And you know, I'm just going to read the email verbatim.
Okay.
Clarification. I wanted him named Curtis Nelson. Did not, and I repeat, did not want to name him after Prince. His dad must have dreamt that. My grandmother wanted my siblings and I to be named Sylvester, Aloysius, or Twyla. But since my mother would not let that happen, those are the names she wanted me to use for my children. I was a big fan of the name Rhett as well as my mother. I've never seen the movie. I just love the name. To avoid any further arguing, I agreed to let his dad name him, and I got to name his sister. That boy needs to get his facts straight. LOL, LOL. And P.S.
Okay.
I am your biggest fan in all caps.
And like I told her when she told me that she emailed, I said, "Oh, come on, fuck off."
Oh, so why would you treat your mother like that?
I always do. You should have heard me last night. Shoot. But actually, funny thing. Well, not really a funny thing, but my sister. So my mom got to name my sister. And my dad wanted to name my sister Daisy. Daisy.
What'd they end up going with?
Macy. I've told you.
Oh. Another Simple Time shout-outs. We did get a comment on Spotify.
Okay.
From your mother.
Oh, great.
She says, you need to call me while taping so I can correct him. LOL. Sadie or Sade is pronounced Sade.
Sade, yeah. And I had told her, I was like, I have heard Sade, but I've never seen it spelled. It's spelled with Sade, so I just thought it was Sadie or Sade. But heard the name, never saw it. So again, she told me all about this too, because one of the weekends when I went over to her house, she was actually just listening to the ending of it. I came in on Jokes with Jefe on the episode, so. And then, of course, she had to tell me, it's Sade, not Sadie or Sade.
Great impression of your mother right there. But once again, listeners, I know you're listening. I know you have your phone in your hand. I know you're thinking about sending us an email. Don't think. just do.
Actually, speaking of shout outs, or just, trying to get people in on this, my mom actually told me she had a couple friends over the past few weeks travel long distances, either out of state or within state, just up north. And her friend Ignacio was going to drive, I know, from here to San Diego, but I think he was going to drive to somewhere else. I can't remember where else she said, but she recommended our podcast for him to listen to on the drive, because he was looking for something to listen to on the long drive.
Nice.
And then another one of her friends was taking some 16-hour drive somewhere, and so she was like, well, there's only 20-some episodes, you might be able to fill it in. So got him in on that. And then I told one of the guys at kickboxing about our podcast. I didn't think he would listen. Not that I was saying he would just trying to be nice or whatever. I just never really assumed that people that I recommend it to would listen, because not many people that I know of, most of them are listening to true crime podcasts. So if we're not true crime, they don't really care. But if I can give kind of a mini shout out, just because I just really did appreciate that he listened and gave me actually some feedback as well.
Way. I love feedback.
His name is Zoli.
Zoli. All right.
I believe Zoli. I believe.
Zoli, thank you for listening.
He's from Hungary.
Nice.
Yeah, and he actually came up to me one of the last time I saw him, and was like, "I listened to your podcast," and I was like, "What? Who made you? Why?"
You know what? It is always strange to hear that, because, when I started sharing it with my coworkers at work, I just put it out there. I didn't really think they would listen.
Yeah,
but when they were like, one guy, he was like, "Oh yeah, I started from the beginning," and I was like, "You did?"
Yeah, right.
You should have started from the 2023 episodes, at least.
The good ones.
The good ones. Those earlier ones?
Yeah, they were good, but
it was like a bunch of...
It was... we had different mindsets, and we had different, I don't know, what would you life experiences, views on life, however you want to say it.
Yeah, the easiest way to think
different
about
ideas about the podcast as well.
Yeah. We were in our, early 20s back then. Now we're in our early 30s, mid 30s.
Yeah.
So, we've gone through a lot of changes in our lives, lots of different life experiences. So the things that interest us now, much different than back then.
What would really, really make me literally freak out is if somebody at my work, other than your brother, because I think your brother. Oh, yeah. Does your brother still listen? Do you know?
He listens.
Does he?
He says he keeps up, so I imagine so.
Other than your brother, only because I know that he listens. He's listened to prior to getting hired at the same company, Robinson, that we both work at. I would be absolutely mind blown if somebody came up to me and said, "Hey, I listened to your podcast." That would be what the fuck? Why? Who are you? How did you find me? Because I have mentioned it to a few people. In one ear, out the other. They can give a damn. My boss, I talked to him about it, but he doesn't listen to podcasts. It's just not what he does. He just. But I've mentioned it a couple of times, and it's funny whenever people ask me "Oh, what are you doing?" Over the weekend, I'm like, I might go record something. "Oh, you're a musician. What do you play?" I'm like, it's not. It's not music. It's a podcast. And their face immediately goes, "Oh." Just drop and it's a podcast, not music. Because I guess they're probably assuming, "Oh, I'll come watch you play" or whatever. But yeah, I'm like, no, I just talk. So they're like, "Oh, okay, I can get that for free here at work. I'll just do it here," So
see, that's the strange thing about podcasts is it seems like anybody could have a podcast.
Yeah,
and if you think about it, there are random people that do.
Yeah, there are.
But I don't know. I want to say we have something special here because we have a ton of great ideas.
Yeah.
And
that we just got to set in motion.
That's our hardest.
Yeah.
The hardest thing to do is just to actually get the ball rolling.
But also,
we have really good ideas. So stay tuned.
But I think what kind of benefits us is that the stuff that we put out and the stuff that we do with the podcast is literally just us. Whereas you look at like other podcasts, they have a team working behind it. They have producers, they have writers, they have editors and all that stuff. We do it all here. You know, everything
at Beach House Studios.
Yeah, exactly. And you do all the editing. Mm-hmm. So it's literally just like us two doing it. And I mean, for the bullshit that we throw together, it is pretty good.
I think it's entertaining.
Yeah.
Because we both have these creative minds, and you know what? Let's not talk too much about this. I kind of wanted to. What we're talking about right now, I wanted to make a simple sessions about it, and I wanted to title it "Who is Marcelo and Andrew?" Okay. So let's save all that detail for that. Okay. And we'll throw that at your way really soon. All right. But yeah, you wanted to catch up on some stuff.
Yeah, because I saw that there's an interest that I think is growing for us both that I don't think we really realized is growing. Like it was growing on us independently, and I didn't realize it. But you went to a soccer game, so I'm assuming that you're getting into soccer, or.
Yeah, let me tell you about that. So, growing up, when I was a kid, my dad forced me into soccer with the AYSO thing. Right, that's around here. And he put me in there without my consent because when I was a kid, I was always a shy kid, you know.
Same here. Yeah.
I was kind of introverted.
Yeah, same here.
If I'm with my friends, I can open up, but
same here. Yeah.
If I'm in like new situations,
we're like two peas in a pod.
I know. It's just I don't know. I get shy and nervous and all that. So my dad forced me in soccer, and I'm kind of thinking maybe he's like, oh, this kid needs to open up and make friends and get into a sport.
And usually sports are really good for doing that.
Yeah, I believe you learn a lot in sports, like teamwork, confidence, the ability to achieve something.
But I think it only works when the kid shows interest in it. Otherwise, you're just wasting money.
Yeah, so that was the extent of me and soccer. Is 1 year, one season, whatever it is, I was in a team, and I don't think I was that good. It wasn't my calling.
I'll be honest with you. I think as far as soccer players go, you probably are a little too tall for them.
Maybe, but I've seen some of the goalies. They're pretty tall because you need that long arm span.
You need that coverage. Yeah.
But yeah, that was me in soccer for most of my life. Then I had my son.
Right.
He's now 8 years old, and he's been showing interest in soccer for the longest time, maybe like 2-3 years. He'd always want a soccer ball. He always want to kick the soccer ball in the driveway. We bought him a soccer net. Then he started watching YouTube videos. Just the best soccer players. So he started learning all the names: Messi, Beckham, all of them. And he just really liked it. And so we're able to get him into soccer now, which we're in the middle of. Like the season's going to start, and the AYSO are looking for coaches. And if I didn't work so much, I would have loved to volunteer to be a coach or something. Yeah, because they were saying, "Oh, we're down 3 coaches," and
it's one of the things where it's like you say that now, but I've never heard a dad go, "Oh yeah, I love coaching." You know, little league stuff. It's like it's usually like,
I mean, don't get me wrong. I don't think I dream about coaching, but when they were down, like first they were down 5 coaches. Yeah. And the lady was like, "Oh, this is all voluntary based. Yeah. And this is a dire situation. Please tell your family and friends. Yeah. We'll train you, whatever." And I'm like, I wish I could. Not because I dream of it, but because I'd like to do something to help out.
Right, yeah.
But
you're like, I'll bring the snacks.
But my son, he's taken to it. They'd had a little evaluation, is what they call it, where they evaluate him to see how he's doing.
It's essentially like a tryout, really.
It's like a tryout. And he actually, I was proud of him. He did really good. He was able to keep up with the drills and all that. And so, yeah, I think now I'm starting to look into soccer a little bit more.
Yeah, kind of have to now. Yeah,
because I'm like, wow, my son knows so much.
Yeah,
and
I'm not going to let him know more than I am about soccer.
And last year, I went to my first LA Galaxy game.
Okay.
Because his aunt...
Oh, I thought you were going to say because the tickets were cheap.
No, the aunt was able to get some tickets through her husband's work, I guess. Mm-hmm. They go in on tickets or buy season pass or something.
Yeah.
Anyway, so they invited me, and it was fun. It was electric. Just fun being in the stadium, and it was great. And then, last Sunday... went to my second game, and turns out this was a really big game. So it was LA Galaxy.
Yeah.
Versus Miami.
Yes.
Which had...
Lionel Messi.
Lionel Messi.
Yeah.
And...
arguably one of the greatest player in the world currently.
And little did I know, Miami is owned by David Beckham. He just bought them.
Okay.
He showed up at the game too.
Who is an LA Galaxy alumni?
Yes. And so it was and this game was the first game of the new season.
So, yeah. It was the start of the MLS season. Yes.
So this was the biggest game, and so I went with my sister-in-law and brother-in-law, and they were I can't believe the crowds. I've never seen the stadium so packed. It was insane.
Now it was at SoFi, correct? Or was it at Dignity Health?
Dignity, whatever, Health, yeah. And it was crowded. It was intense. There was a police presence I've never seen before. There were helicopters, and I'm not talking Robinson helicopters. Right. I mean, these were military grade helicopters.
Legit helicopters?
And they were flying pretty low.
Yeah.
It was pretty menacing.
Yeah.
But it was cool because they also while they sung this lady sung the Star Spangled Banner, who did an excellent job, by the way. They do a little firework, and then the two helicopters flew over the scene.
Oh, okay. They did a flyby,
and it was just the coolest thing. And it was a great game.
Okay.
It got crazy towards the second half. LA Galaxy scored 1 point. And then at the last 5 minutes, Miami scored a point. It ended up being a tie at the end, but it was a really good game. And it's just funny because my son was torn. He was like, I don't know who to root for, LA Galaxy or Miami because of Messi.
Yeah.
But overall, it was amazing. Had a great time. So how does that... How do we overlap here? You're saying we both have an interest in soccer, so now you're a big soccer fan?
I'm becoming one, I believe.
Whoa.
So most of my life, I wouldn't say I hated soccer. Well, the one thing I hated about soccer is that there's a lot of ties. There's a lot of draws. Growing up being a baseball fan, being a tennis fan, hockey, football fan, most of those games don't end in ties. They go until someone wins. Occasionally in hockey you will, but in hockey they exhaust all options before they call it a draw. In baseball, the only time I've ever seen a draw was during the All-Star game when they ran out of pitchers. But it was during the time when the All-Star game didn't matter. So they just kind of was hey, draw it, tie, whatever, end it. But so for years, I never really was why am I going to invest my time for 100+ minutes into a game that's going to end in a tie? I just don't see it. I'd occasionally catch the World Cup, but even in the World Cup, I would be I don't understand why they can't go until the winner. You were literally playing on the biggest stage in the world for your country, and you're going to just give up because you guys are at 1-1. I just don't. I never saw that. Regardless, yes, I understood these guys are running up and down that pitch for 90+ minutes. So they got to be fit, and I get it. But there should still be a way that you can determine a winner instead of tying it. But I understand that's how it's been for however many 100 years that soccer's been around. When I was at work, one of the guys that works around me, Raul, I've talked about him before, part of the Mo, Larry, and Curly, Three Stooges, that Raul, huge soccer fan. Huge soccer fan.
Yeah.
When football season was going on, there was another guy, Martin, the Curly of the Three Stooges that work over there.
Yeah.
Big New England Patriot fan. What I would like to do with those guys, with Martin and Angel, is I would give them random football trivia, and just kind of see it. And Raul would always ask, "What's the question?" Not knowing anything about football, he would just want to know the question because he was an information guy. Loved information, loved learning. And then I started asking him, like, "Well, dude, what are you into?" And that's when he told me, he's like, "Oh, I'm a huge soccer fan. I love the EPL. He's a huge fan of Real Madrid, and he's also a big fan of a team called America. They play in Mexico, So that's what I told him. I said, "Well, I'll tell you what. To make it fair, I'll give these guys, football, basketball, baseball trivia, because that's what Martin and Angel were into. And I said, and I'll give you soccer trivia." And through doing the soccer trivia, trying to find soccer trivia or trying to put together my own soccer trivia questions, I was kind of like, this is kind of, I could kind of see some of the history. I liked some of the stories of certain teams and certain matches and stuff. It was pretty cool. And then he was like, "Well, why don't you listen to a game?" And I was like, "They broadcast them?" Like, I just always thought, how can you broadcast? Like, it's like listening to baseball on the radio. It's kind of boring, I'll be honest, even though I'm a big baseball fan. But I just so happened to look, and I have Sirius XM radio, and they have a channel, Sirius FC, where they broadcast football game or soccer games. And one thing that they broadcast a lot of is the EPL, the English Premier League, which is kind of known as the biggest soccer league in the world. Like all the best players go to play up there. Yeah. That's kind of what the idea is.
Okay.
So I started listening to a couple of games, and beginning couple games were kind of boring. They wasn't much going on. Usually a draw or like a 1-0 kind of game. And he was kind of like, "You're not really into it." I was like, "There's just nothing excites me." But then I listened to a really good game once, and I can't remember who it was that was playing, and it blew my mind.
What made it so good?
The emotion behind the commentators, the way that both teams that. Because I want to say it wasn't a top tier EPL team. It was one of the lower tiers. So they were fighting for a spot to try to leave the quote unquote relegation zone. Mm-hmm. So one thing I learned about the EPL is that if you're in the bottom 3 of your bracket, you get demoted to the lower tiered league of teams. So each season, the teams always fight to get out of that bottom 3. And these two teams are trying to fight to get out of it. And it was like, I think it ended up winning, the end score was like 4-3. So it was like really good. Both teams were challenging each other. Both teams were scoring. It was like a really good fast-paced fast-paced game. And the way that the commentators were commenting on it, everything just clicked. It was like they both understood what was on the line. They both understood the heart of these players. Some of the players were like on like their 500th EPL match. Some of them were 16, 17-year-olds that were taking the field for the first time, scoring their first goal. So, I mean, it was like there was a lot on the line. There was a lot to do. And I was like, okay, I could see why. And so the more I listened to it, it seemed like for every 4 or 5 games that was boring and a draw, you would get that one game that was like really, really good. And so... we started talking more and more about it, me and Raul, and he would tell me more. He would tell me more about soccer. I'd tell him more about football and baseball. We would kind of start interacting that way, and now it's like every Saturday and Sunday the EPL plays. So whenever we work Saturdays, we're always checking scores when we can. We're not supposed to be on our phones, but when we can, we check scores, and we're always like, "Hey, dude, Manchester City just scored another goal," and we're like, "Oh, fuck," and then we're just getting excited. To the point to where I was kind of like, so I pitched Angel and Martine a way to bet. Give them a couple trivia questions throughout the week. Whoever would guess more, be like a bag of chips or like a soda. Raul doesn't really eat chips. He stays pretty healthy. So I'm like, okay, what can I do to create a bet with him too? So this way it kind of keeps things exciting and fresh, and because he favors more Manchester City and Manchester United. He does like Fulham because there is a Mexican. Essentially, he loves he was born in Mexico. He loves the Club America, and he also loves the Mexican national team. So if there's a Mexican national team or a player that was from America that goes to an EPL team, he follows that EPL team because he's just really proud of the Mexican players, so he follows them.
Right.
And Fulham, one of the teams over in EPL, has a who we call his Tacayo, because there's a Raul Jimenez plays. I think it's Jimenez plays on Fulham, so he follows that because the Mexican players on that team. I was like, we would talk about that, and so I was like, how do I get this? How do I get like some kind of betting to kind of make us pay attention to all the teams and really kind of learn make both of us learn more. Then that's when I realized he doesn't really have an extensive music knowledge. His music is pretty contained to Hispanic music, a lot of Mexican music. I wouldn't say reggaeton, but like Mexican music, a lot of Mexican band, a lot of Mexican artists.
Reggaeton.
So or he would listen to some rap, but even the rap would be very small.
Mm-hmm.
And so I was like, I know, since he's broadening my horizon on soccer, I'll broaden his horizon on music.
Ooh.
So this is the way that we bet.
I was wondering how
we were going to get to it.
Everything was going to.
I know. Yeah. So
come together. I was like, we got balls.
But how do we get the beats in?
How do we get the beats in? Yeah.
So
here it is, folks.
So this is the bet. Okay. And I actually even went so far as to download an app to help out with this.
You made him memorize all the lyrics for Creed's.
No. I
Take
did
You Higher song.
I didn't go that far on him yet.
So you started him off with the greats, the Beatles.
No. So this is what we do. So I don't go in chronological order of history and all that stuff. What I do is I have an app on my phone that's a wheel, like a spinning wheel, like a Wheel of Fortune kind of wheel.
Oh yeah.
What I'll do is I'll find the matches, the soccer matches that are being broadcast or that are either EPL, the FA Cup, the Carabao Cup, I think is, or Carabao Cup. I can't remember how it's pronounced both ways.
Tomatoes.
Yeah, or the Champions League. If I haven't said Champions League yet,
mm-hmm.
So those are like the bigger cups in the world. I'll find the games for that week, and the matchups I'll create a wheel for. So, like, for example, this past week, Manchester City played Luton. So, I create a wheel with Manchester City and Luton on it. It's all straight down the middle. It's all even. And then we take turns hitting these wheels. One spin each. So, like, he spun on this last week. And he landed on Manchester City.
Okay.
So now, if Manchester City wins, he wins that game. Okay. If it's one game a day, whoever wins that game gets to tell the loser what artist they should listen to.
Ooh.
So what he's done is he's given me Mexican singers to listen to.
Oh.
And when I win, I give him a band that I know of.
Right.
To broaden his horizons. And now this is the other thing. He says that he possibly could have listened to the bands that I told him. He's just really bad with names. Once he listens to a song, he'll understand. Like one day he came in wearing a Nirvana shirt and we all gave him shit because we're like,
name one Nirvana song?
Yeah, and he couldn't. And he had no idea. He was like literally like, I thought the design was cool. I thought the smiley face was cool. I just bought the shirt and started wearing it. And so we were giving him shit like, how the fuck are you going to wear that Nirvana shirt? You're not going to know a goddamn thing about him. Couldn't name the lead singer. Nothing. And so then one day I gave him like a playlist to listen to. It was the Luke Cage, the Marvel show.
Okay.
there was a playlist that I found on Spotify that had all the music that played, because in Luke Cage, he anytime that he would go solve a crime, they would play a lot of music, a lot of Wu-Tang. So there was a lot of Wu-Tang that on the playlist. And but I told him I was like, hey, listen to this playlist. It's really, really good. It was before the bets. This is kind of what inspired the bets. And he listened to it, and Come As You Are was on the list. Yeah. And he goes, and his eyes opened up, and I was like, what happened? He goes, I know this song. And he had headphones on. So I'm like, what song are you talking about? And he goes, no, this. And he showed it to me. And I was like,
but if he's like, wait, I know this one. I know this one. I just can't remember the artist's name. It's on the tip of my tongue. And then you're like, just look at your shirt, dude. Yeah,
that's basically how it went.
That's
almost how it went. I was like, dude, that's Nirvana. That's the band whose shirt you were wearing. And he was like, my cousin taught me the chords to this song when I was playing guitar, and I'm like, and I was like,
you gotta put a little chorus on there.
And then that's when he had told me, he was like, yeah, I've listened to a lot of songs. I'm just bad with the name. You could tell me the name of the band, I won't know a song, but if you play the song, I'll recognize it from listening to it. So
it kind of reminds me of me. I'm kind of the same thing. Like I've heard these popular songs on the radio,
right? Yeah,
and I'm like, I don't know who the band is, but I've heard the song,
right? And we've tried to stay away from anything current, just because it's like, yeah, we both probably could have heard some of the songs, but like I've had him, like the first one I had him listen to when I found out that he was like a proud Hispanic guy. I was like, okay, first band you got to listen to when I won, Santana.
Oh hell yeah!
And he was listening. He was like, "Oh, he goes. I've heard Oye Como Va." And he was like, "I was like, everybody's heard Oye Como Va," And he was
this old guy at work. He's 71. Randomly, he's a Filipino dude, but he speaks fluent Spanish. You'll hear him go, "Oye Como Va."
So I had him listen to Santana. I had him listen to Steve Miller Band.
All right.
And he said that Fly Like an Eagle he had heard. He was like, yeah, I can't remember where I heard. I said, well, it's been everywhere.
It's been on a USPS commercial.
Yeah, and that's what I told him. He's like, yeah, that could have been where I listened it to. What else did I give him? I gave him then like last week before, he was like, dude, the next time I win, I think I'm going to give you a rap artist, and we'll start going into rap. And I was like, all right. I said, I'll do the same for you. So then I ended up winning soon after that. And I had told him, I said, you can listen to a guy called Fort Minor. And he listened to it, and the biggest song, I can't remember what it's called, what the song's called, but he was like, he came in the next day singing the song, and he was like, I've heard that song, I know that song. He was like, I didn't realize that was Fort Minor. I was like, yeah. Then I had him listen to Fall Out Boy. And Fall Out Boy, he said it was Thanks for the Memories. He knew that song.
Thanks for the Memories?
Yeah, Thanks for the Memories.
Not Sugar We're Going Down?
No, maybe.
Or Dance?
No, I want to say Thanks for the Memories is what sparked his
okay.
All right. But plus I think right now that, because he goes into Spotify and listens to the most popular songs and just goes down. I think that's like number 2 or 3 right now. So but yeah, so that's how we got into Balls and Beats. Was he introduced me into the world of soccer. I'm introducing him into a world of music of just all genres. And I even gave him a couple country artists to listen to.
All right.
He says he doesn't like country, but I was like, all right. I said, I'm not going to give you the twangy Willie Nelson kind of, Hank Williams kind of country. So I gave him some, a little more modern kind of stuff that I thought he'd kind of ease into. So we're both kind of. It's funny. I think I've won more than he has. Because at first we were just kind of picking our favorite teams, but then it kind of became not fair because he knows more about the EPL than I do, so he'll know more like how good of a team is versus what me. So like I know Manchester City is a really good team, and when it was like Manchester City versus like Sheffield United, and Sheffield United is the worst team in the EPL right now. Well, if he picks Manchester City, I can't pick Manchester City. I got to pick Sheffield. And if I pick Sheffield, I know I'm going to lose automatically. So I was like, there's got to be a way that we can make it even to where even if we're both a fan of the team, we can't pick it. it's going to have to be up to chance. And
right.
That's when I found the wheels. And even if they're teams that he's a big Real Madrid fan. Real Madrid played 2 weeks ago. They're playing this week again in the Champions League. But 2 weeks ago when they played, I knew he was going to pick Real Madrid because I was like, that's your team. But I knew if he picked it, and they're one of the best teams in the world, going up against a team that was somewhat okay, it wasn't going to be fair. And Real Madrid ended up winning. But when I did the wheel, I got Real Madrid. So it was like, okay, it kind of, worked out a little bit. So
speaking of wheels,
okay,
you gotta show them Wheels by Foo Fighters.
Oh yeah, no, I'm gonna get
when the wheels come down.
I'm gonna show them Foo Fighters. I'm gonna go down. Actually. Hopefully he's not listening to spoil the future. What I was gonna do, so Fort Minor, I was gonna put these three together: Fort Minor, Linkin Park, Mike Shinoda.
All right,
because they're all Linkin Park. Mike Shinoda is the DJ and the guy that raps on Linkin Park albums. Mm-hmm. Fort Minor is Mike Shinoda. It was a side project that he did while he was with Linkin Park. And then once Chester Bennington passed away, Mike Shinoda started putting in a couple solo albums, and during quarantine put out a couple like electronic albums, lyric, just straight synthesizer kind of stuff.
That's pretty cool.
So I was gonna I wasn't gonna just throw out random bands if I knew that there was like a couple bands that had like a story together. I was gonna put them together and kind of make it somewhat interesting. Have him also kind of because he likes learning stuff too.
That's cool.
So I was gonna try to teach him that way and all that stuff. So
speaking of music and learning stuff.
Yep.
And you did bring up country music.
Yeah.
Did you hear about Beyonce?
That she put out a country song? Yeah.
What do you think about that?
I haven't listened to it.
Are you going to?
I was never a Beyonce fan, so I mean,
But you like country.
I like country.
And you like music.
Yeah.
And
if it comes across, maybe I will. But I mean, I'm not gonna go out searching for it.
All right. I was gonna say you should listen to it because I know you're a country guy. And just
tell
us what you think.
There are some good crossover songs, like was it Lil Nas X and not Miley Cyrus? Who's Miley Cyrus's dad?
Billy Ray Cyrus.
Billy Ray Cyrus. Yeah, they did a song.
Country Road something.
Yeah. And at first I was kind of like, it'd be kind of stupid. I listened to it. I'm like, it's not that bad,
It's not that bad. The worst part is I've heard my kids singing it. I'm like, or I heard the Kids Bop version of it.
Yeah, but I mean, the thing I don't like about it is it's very repetitive. It's not really like
it's pop country.
Yeah. One of the best crossovers. So there's actually a playlist that I looked up on Spotify, country crossovers, and there's a song on.
Is it like a Subaru, or
kind of
a Mazda
meet Chevy, Dodge, Ford, yeah, kind of thing, yeah.
Like a Chevy Blazer, it's the crossover,
kind of
crossover.
So, dork.
Sorry.
And there's a song on that I completely forgot about that actually that when I looked it up, I didn't realize that it was up on the top charts for 20 weeks, for a long time. The crossover that Tim McGraw did with Nelly. And I can't remember the song name off the top of my head, but I remember seeing that as the number one video and number one song week after week after week.
Wow.
So I mean, rap and pop does have a good crossover into country. But I'm not going to go looking out for the Beyonce song, but I mean, I've heard mixed reviews about it. Some say that it's just kind of some people have said that it's Beyonce trying to take over the Taylor Swift void. While Taylor Swift is taking over the Beyonce void in pop music. So, but I mean, it's whatever. If I come across it, maybe I'll listen to it. But it's nothing. I'm not a fan of Beyonce. I don't really get her music. I don't see the hype. So I just kind of let it go.
You don't like all the single ladies?
It's repetitive. I mean, if the song is that repetitive, I'm not really all right, that big about it. So
I see your point. Are you going to show your buddies Nickelback?
Yes.
Oh, hell yeah.
I'm going to do Nickelback. I'm going to do Aerosmith.
You and I might be the only two people in this world that love Nickelback.
What else was I going to do?
Or the only two people that aren't ashamed to say
probably
that we enjoy us some Nickelback.
Probably, who are actually going on tour, and they're they're gonna be like at either Stagecoach or Coachella.
Dang!
So on like one of the main stages,
the big ones.
Yeah, they have like their own stage too. So like they're getting
Nickelback stage.
Nickelback, yeah.
Wow,
dude, their breakout album turned 23 this year or something like that.
Makes you feel old, don't it?
Yeah, it does. But yeah, no, I mean, it's funny because for him, it's hard to recommend music for me. But I told him, I was like, dude, I just got to turn the DJX app or the DJX thing on Spotify on, and I'm like, that immediately gives me like 5 bands that I'm like, oh, I got to give this to him. Oh, I got to tell him about this. So I mean, I told him, said every week I can have like another 10 bands that remind me to give you. I'm gonna tell him to listen to Boston. Tell him to listen to Journey, Flow Rida, DMX if he hasn't listened to DMX already. I know he listens to Wu-Tang, so I haven't been trying to give him Wu-Tang. I've been trying to stay away from like a lot of like the older raps because he says that he does listen to it. He has told me don't give him Eminem because he's listened to Eminem a lot. What else? I'm gonna give him Cecilio and Capono to listen to. So like I'm gonna give him a wide variety of music to listen to, and yeah, it should just be fun because he's 23. So a lot of these bands, he's never even heard of. Even if you heard the music, probably never even heard the names. Nothing. So.
Yeah, sounds like he's gonna have a good time listening to all kinds of new music.
Yeah, he should. Yeah. So,
well, hey Marcelo.
Yeah.
I hate to cut you off.
Okay.
I'm falling asleep.
All right.
Do you mind if I run inside? I'm just gonna make me a quick shot of espresso.
Okay.
Because I just need a little pick me up, something to wake me up. We got a couple more segments to go.
Okay.
So, can you talk on the show for something?
Yeah, sure.
I've gotten really good at making my espresso. Like I can make it in like 1 minute. Like seriously, 1 minute.
Okay.
All right, man.
Yeah, go ahead.
I'll be right back.
Well, while he goes in and makes his espresso, I keep meaning to tell him that there's a guy on TikTok that has an espresso machine and does videos where he does like he makes espressos out of like random stuff. Like he made like a cinnamon espresso. Like he used actual ground up cinnamon and made it out of his espresso and weird stuff like that. And who is that? Why does someone always come over and answer the door whenever? Oh shit! All right, hold on. What's going? Hey, Bashful. What's going on, Beto?
Jefe. Hey.
How's
it going, man? I'm so happy to be here.
Yeah, good.
And let me guess. Let me just take a while.
All right.
Andrew left the room
He did.
As soon as I came and knocked on the door.
Not quite as soon as, but yeah, pretty damn close to it. Yeah.
Well, that is what it is, my guy. Andrew's cool and all, but I'm really here for you, El Jefe.
Well, me?
Yeah, you always have something interesting to say.
All right.
I don't know. I told me madre, you're my best friend.
Okay.
So, anyway, what was new? ¿Qué pasa?
Not much. We're just trying to, crank out another episode. We're both, we both had long work weeks, so we're trying to, to make this a quick one.
Me too, Essay. You're not gonna believe this, but I put in some applications.
Oh, good for you.
At the mall.
Oh, all right.
And I got a couple of interviews. I got an interview at Cinnabon.
Okay.
They make that delicious, delectable Cinnabons. Oh, so good.
I remember the two smells were always fighting in the mall between Bath and Body Works and Cinnabon because they were both like right next to each other.
Always right next to each other. It sounds like you talk about Del Amo.
Del Amo, yeah. That's the mall I used to go to.
Hey, that's where I apply, fool.
All right.
I'm going to be living large, going to the mall every single day. And I also put an application at Auntie Anne's and Mrs. Fields.
So it was the pretzel and the cookies.
Pretzel and the cookie. You know your stuff.
Oh, yeah.
And then I put an application at Macy's.
Okay.
Because, I'm really good at selling things.
All right.
You know what I mean?
Oh, yeah.
But can I tell you something?
Yeah, go ahead.
I'm not proud of this. I try to be a good person and all. Like, I was walking down the street and I saw some basura on the floor.
Yeah.
Some trash.
Yeah.
And you're not gonna believe this. I picked it up.
Oh, okay.
Because I try to be a good person.
But what did you do with it? Did you throw it away or did you put it back where you found it?
I picked it up.
Okay.
And I blacked out. I don't remember what I did with it. But the point is, I try to be a good person.
A lot of people
fall short sometimes.
A lot of people do that with like bottles and cans. They'd pick them up and they keep them and then they go recycle them. So maybe that could be something that you could do, like if you're walking to work, on one of the jobs that you get.
Fu, you enlighten me. But as I was trying to say yesterday, I stole some perfumes.
Okay.
And colognes. Because I like...
You just like to smell good.
Well, I like Chanel.
Okay. Number 5?
Number 5. Is it pronounced number 5? I think I should know these things before you sell them. Before I get the job. I don't want to sound ignorant. Anyway, food. The last thing I wanted to tell you is my Valentine's Day didn't go so good. So she didn't answer the phone when I called her. Yeah. But now that I think about it, would you pick up a random phone number if someone called you and it was from a payphone?
Oh, you were calling from a payphone?
I mean, yes.
Oh, did you finally get that app working that helps you find a payphone?
Yeah, so I got this app to find the payphone. I get to the payphone, and you're not gonna believe this. There's a coin shortage.
Yeah.
So
you had to call collect?
No, fool. I took my 50-cent coin piece. The $50.
Yeah. Oh wow, it fit in there?
No, fool. Oh. Listen. That's why God gave you 2 ears. I couldn't get change. I needed 2 quarters.
Yeah.
No one had change.
At all?
Coin shortage. Are you even listening to me?
Well, I tell you what. If you go to collect those bottles and cans, they'll give you coins for those.
I think you're onto something, fool.
And then you can call all the hyenas you want from the payphones.
Ooh, all the hyenas. La cholas. I guess I better get back to work.
I'll when I see Andrew again when he comes back from making his espresso, which is taking a really long time for some reason, I'll make sure his beeper's charged. Hopefully he found the cable for that, and then I'll tell him, hey, you just gotta wait. Tell Beto which payphone you're gonna be calling back at, and he'll be there. How's that sound?
El Jefe, you are the smartest man I have ever known.
Almost starting to sound like a Ricardo Montalban, but hey, maybe you're related to him.
Man, I don't know what you just said. You talk too much, El Jefe. You're cool and all, but yeah. I think you talk way too much. But
hey, not to kick you out or anything like that, but we are trying to be quick on this episode. So we got to get back. We're almost there. We're about halfway. So plus, I'm sure you probably want to get some rest in case they call you tomorrow for those interviews.
Yes, sir, Senor.
All right.
Well, nice seeing you, Jefe.
Hey, good seeing you, Beto.
Thanks for always letting me hang out for a little bit.
No, no problem.
I'll probably see you again real soon.
All right, then.
All right. Peace out, amigo.
All right, peace out, Beto.
And last thing, when you see Andrew, just tell him, Órale, ¿qué pasó?
That's a lot of O's, but I'll remember that.
Adios, amigo.
All right, see ya. Oh, Beto, what did you forget something else?
Beto.
Okay.
It's me.
Yeah. Okay. You know what?
Do I look like bashful Beto?
I'm not.
Do I look like him?
I'm not going to get into it.
Do I look like him? Look at me with your eyes.
He even said, you know what's funny? He talked about my ears, now you're talking about my eyes. What's going on here?
Listen, man.
But okay, you know what? Hey,
I just don't want to be confused with him. I'm just saying I'm a good-looking dude, a good-looking specimen.
He just walked away,
and now
the door opened. So I wanted to make sure
me with that cholo wannabe gangster.
I wanted to make sure that it wasn't
walked into a Chippendales one day thinking it was a women's strip club. Listen.
Anyways, he said that.
What did he say?
He said that I suggested, but he agreed. If you can find that charger for your beeper that you try to find, and you can call and you can let him know which payphone you'll call him back at, he'll meet at that payphone and wait for your call.
So, in order for me to communicate with him, I need to charge my beeper.
Yes.
So he can call my beeper.
Yes. So
I can call him
back
at that payphone.
But there's a step you're missing. So when he calls the beeper, and you're going to call back, he's got to go back into that app that he's got on his phone and find out which payphone he called from that he favorited, and then you'll call him back at that payphone.
You know, surprisingly, I follow you because I had that shot of espresso.
Exactly.
And it's working.
Yeah.
And how stupid do you think I am to think that I'm going to call the payphone where he used an app to find?
Hey, I'm just relaying a message. All right.
You know what? I can't keep doing this. Can we just move on?
Sure.
We're like an hour in. We got to wrap things up. All right.
Yeah.
And Beto, if you're listening to this, I love you. I miss you. And I wish all the best for you. We'll probably never talk or communicate or meet. But I care about you, and you're the best person that I've ever come into contact with. If it wasn't for you, I wouldn't be alive.
And that sounds like you guys have a very, very loving and long history together.
We do. Maybe one day I'll disclose everything.
Okay, yeah.
But as for now, this espresso is telling me to let's finish this up. It's time for History with Jefe.
March 2nd on this day in history. Gonna try to blow through this so we can get it done pretty quick. Not a lot of historical events, but it kind of gets pretty good towards the end. In 1796, Napoleon Bonaparte is appointed commander-in-chief of the French army in Italy.
Nice.
Right? In 1807, Congress bans the slaves trade within the U.S. effective January 1st, 1808. Yeah, so let's see. 1946, Ho Chi Minh is elected president of North Vietnam. Whatever.
Yeah, Ho Chi Minh.
So, which later became a city name, Ho Chi Minh City.
Oh, wow, I didn't know that.
So today in film and TV, King Kong, directed by Marion C. Cooper and Ernest B. Schoedenzak. Okay. Starring Fay Wray, premieres at the Radio City Music Hall in RKO Roxy in New York City on 1933.
I loved Jack Black in that movie.
Oh, yeah, so did I. And then also, 1965, on this day, one of the most popular musical films of all time, The Sound of Music, starring Julie Andrews and Christopher Plummer, premieres, which ends up winning Academy Award Best Picture in 1996.
You should tell your coworkers about that one.
I should, yeah. Today in sports, there's really just one big one. It's 1962. Philadelphia center Wilt Chamberlain scores 100 points, most ever by an NBA player in a single game, in Warriors' 169-147 win over the New York Knicks. And Hershey, 36 of 63 from field, 28 from 32 from free throw line. And to this day, that record stands. Nobody has scored 100 points in a single game. I think the closest person to do that was Kobe when he scored 86 in the game.
Wow.
But yeah, as far as I know, nobody's gone over 90, and no one's come close to 100 points in a single game.
Insane.
Famous birthdays today. We have a beloved favorite of everybody, Dr. Seuss.
No way.
Was born on March 2nd, 1904.
Nice.
As well as... Oh, Lucy, you got some splaining to do. Desi Arnaz on this day in 1917.
Funny you mentioned Desi Arnaz. I kind of want to say...
The inspiration for your son's name?
Partly. We do call him Desi. But I think subconsciously, I think I kind of looked up to Ricky Ricardo growing up because I watched I Love Lucy when I was a kid. And he was a musician, an artist. And beautiful.
Thank you.
I wish you didn't stop.
Thank you.
But Hispanic dude comes to America.
Yep.
Reminds me of when I first came to America. Oh wait, no, I was born here.
There's a podcast I'll recommend you later on when we're done with this that kind of touches on both Lucy and Desi's life together. Yeah. It's really good, really cool. Some other celebrity birthdays for today. John Bon Jovi.
Ooh.
Celebrates his 62nd birthday today.
We're halfway there?
Yeah, that guy,
Living on a prayer.
Yes. Wanted dead or alive.
Ooh.
Yeah, see? Former James Bond, Daniel Craig, celebrates his 56th birthday today.
Dang.
Lead singer of Coldplay, Chris Martin, celebrates his 47th birthday today.
Wow.
Star of Pitch Perfect, as well as many other movies, Rebel Wilson celebrates her 44th birthday today. And, I believe, former Pittsburgh Steelers quarterback Ben Roethlisberger celebrates his 42nd birthday today. Fun fact about today, discovery of minor planet 5020 Asimov, named after sci-fi writer Isaac Asimov, on March 2nd, 1981.
And does that conclude History with Jefe?
There's one more thing.
Oh, one more thing for History with Jefe. Bring it on.
On this day, on March 2nd, 1998, Titanic broke all kinds of records after its release in 1997, but the acclaim that it's received failed to be reflected on the cast at the Academy Awards. So even though they won all this money, became one of the biggest blockbusters of all time, nobody really won many awards for the movie in the Academy Awards for after that. So on this day was when the Academy Awards happened, and Titanic basically got snubbed in every category. So
I wonder. Yeah, because you would think it won Best Picture, Best
something,
Director,
yeah,
all
but
that,
yeah.
but
I mean, maybe it did, but because it kind of sounds like the cast is really what got snubbed. But yeah, and that would be History with Jefe. So now, trying to speed things along a little bit. We got our two of our longest running bits. Let's go jump right into Simple Times News. So with Andrew having a busy week, he didn't really have much time to kind of look up his news articles and all that stuff.
That is correct.
But there's one news article that I happened to come across a few times, and I've told a few people in my family.
So this one is podcast worthy, huh?
It is.
I'm ready.
Florida man has 150 live bugs removed from his nose.
Give me a little context here. Florida man is the guy who... He's been featured on Simple Times News before, right?
Correct. And this Florida man, I believe, has a name.
The same Florida man that was trying to sue the Grand Theft Auto...
Different Florida man.
Oh, different Florida man.
There's a lot of Florida men if you actually go down there and look.
Oh, okay. So Florida man isn't a name of
it's like
a man.
Category, I guess you could say.
Ah, gotcha.
And in this article, it doesn't give him a name, but I can't remember what his name was. But...
just go straight to the news story.
It says, it took a few months, but a Florida man finally found out what was bugging him. Get it? Doctors removed 150 live bugs in the larva stage from the nose and sinuses of a cancer survivor earlier this month. The unidentified man, which I believe now has been identified, has been feeling off since October. Get it? Off. It's a bug spray. Off. But it wasn't until his face and lips swelled on February 9th that he sought help at HCA Florida Memorial Hospital. I started to get nosebleeds, constant nosebleeds, the man told First Coast News. I couldn't even get up to go to the bathroom without my nose starting to bleed. Things got really weird at the hospital. When I went for the examination, the doctor says, I see movement. Dr. David Carlson told the outlet that he examined the man's nose with the camera only to discover dozens of bugs feeding on the inside of the nose and sinus cavity and shedding tissue and excrement, which is what spurred the man's inflammation. Size-wise, there's variations, but the larger ones was as big as the end of my pinky, Dr. Carlson said about the disgusting pests. There were certain larvae inside the nose that were scurrying around and looking for places to feed, and others that had burrowed into tissue. Carlson said his team tried to remove the bugs with suction, but when that got clogged, they used different instruments to pluck them out, and those little buggers didn't want to get evicted. First Coast News shared graphic footage from the operating room that shows the gruesome bugs crawling inside the man's face and their stomach-churning extractions. They were right up against his skull base, right under the brain. Had they had gotten through that, it could have killed him. The creepy crawlies were sent to an epidemiologist for identification. Assuming it's a bug doctor. Mm-hmm. The man hypothesized that the parasite staged their invasion after he handled dead fish. I know that I have to change my lifestyle as far as I handle fish, he told First Coast News. Before, I would rinse my hands in the river. Now I'll use cleaner to do a better job and not touch my nose or my hand. Carlson said that his lengthy career as an ears, nose, and throat specialist said that he had not seen a case like this documented in the U.S. The rare condition is called nasal myiasis, which is the infestation of fly larvae. A 2021 case study of a 54-year-old female farmer from a rural area with the illness reported that open wounds, lesions, scabs, reported that open wounds, lesions, scabs in immunocompromised state, diabetes, nutritional deficiencies, and poor hygiene are among the risk factors. The Florida patient had a cancerous tumor removed from his nose 30 years ago. That meant he had open spaces in his nasal cavity and a weakened immune system. He was given a special antiparasitic rinse for his nose, and now he is expected to make a full recovery. So, he was...
so you're telling me...
He was saying...
This guy had bugs in his head?
In his head, nose, and sinus. 150 of them. Now, one thing that they didn't talk about in this article that I saw in a video... was first the guy had said when he was handling the dead fish, he would rinse, like I said in the article, he rinsed his hands in the river, but then he said that he had a nose itch, so he went to go scratch his nose, and he says that's
what caused it.
Yeah, sparked it. But the doctor, when they were interviewing the doctor, he said that when it's in the article, they were trying to suction it out, but then the suction got clogged. They then tried to rinse it out, but nothing was coming out. So what they ended up having to do was get small enough forceps and start pulling them out one by one. They said it took
his nose.
They said it took something like 4 hours to get all 150, and that was just a rough estimate. They completely lost track after a while of how many bugs and larvae they're pulling out. But it ate through his sinus cavity and was getting into to the base of the brain. They said it was literally maybe a centimeter or two away from killing him because of all the open spaces from his tumor that he had removed.
Well, that's really disgusting.
Yeah.
And I've heard stories of spiders living in people's ears and stuff. But
when my mom was a medical assistant, they would have patients come in with a cricket in their ear or bugs in their ears or up their nose, and people say that when they have the cricket in their ear or any kind of bug in their ear,
they named them Jiminy.
Not quite. Sometimes they do.
Okay.
But no, they said that the patient would claim that they would hear rustling in their ear from them trying to burrow in further. Not sometimes they would hear a chirping, but for the most part it would be like getting like a ball of paper and crumpling it next to your ear and having that constant for hours and hours because your body's trying to expel it, but they're trying to burrow in. So
I wonder how that happens, though. I mean,
some say while you're sleeping.
While you're sleeping,
they just jump in there. They find, if it's like a colder night, they might find there's warmth in here. It's a little cave. They go in there and they try to burrow in, and then they realize that they can't get themselves out. So they end up getting stuck, and that's when you get the pain and you get the annoyance of the sounds and all that stuff. So.
Isn't that inhumane, though, if you have a bug living in your ear? Why don't you just be like, hey, just keep it down in there?
Right? Just charge them rent or something.
There we go.
But, yeah, so I think that's sometimes news.
Awesome. And like I said, if I wasn't so tired, I'd have my news.
Yeah.
But, we'll save it for next time.
But to make up for it, I have a couple options for your favorite segment.
Oh, yeah. Should I introduce the segment and then you tell me the options?
I believe so.
All right, everybody. The longest running segment on the show. Jokes with Jefe.
So it's not quite like, I need you to pick one. It's more of I need you to pick what you want to hear first.
Oh.
So given that we have the titles Balls and Beats and we talk about, soccer and music for, I'd say a pretty good chunk of it. Mm-hmm. I've got soccer jokes and I've got music jokes.
Ooh.
Which would you like to hear first?
I'll choose my own adventure.
I guess, yeah.
Let's do the soccer first.
Soccer first. All right.
Bring it on. Bend it like Beckham.
Why can't Cinderella play soccer?
Well, why not?
Because she always runs away from the ball.
Whoa.
Why don't grasshoppers watch soccer? They watch cricket instead.
Oh, nice.
What kind of tea do soccer players drink? Penalty. What's it called when a dinosaur gets a goal? A dino score.
Dino score.
Which soccer player has the biggest cleats? The one with the biggest feet.
I didn't see that one coming.
What position do ghosts play in soccer? Goalie. What lights up a soccer stadium?
I know, lights.
A soccer match.
Oh.
Why shouldn't you play soccer in the jungle? There are too many cheetahs. Why did the soccer ball quit the team? It was tired of being kicked around. Why do soccer players do so well in school? They know how to use their heads.
Mm-hmm.
How do soccer players stay cool during games? They stand near the fans. Why did the soccer player bring string to her game? So she could tie the score. What runs around a soccer field but never moves? A fence. How do birds cheer their soccer teams? They egg them on. Why did the dog want to play soccer? Why didn't the dog want to play soccer? He was a boxer. Why was the soccer field wet on a sunny day? The players dribbled all over it. Where's the best place to shop for a soccer uniform? New Jersey.
Oh.
What do soccer referees send during the holidays? Yellow cards.
They send them a band?
Yeah, right.
All right, give us a couple more.
They must mail them to Ocean Avenue. Why do so many Americans play soccer? So they don't have to watch it on TV. What did the mummy soccer coach say at the end of practice? Let's wrap this up.
That's exactly what I'm thinking.
And so we should. So should I do some music ones?
Let's do some music ones. You promised some music ones. Let's do le music.
How do you make a band stand? Take away their chairs. How many concert masters does it take to change a light bulb? Just one, but it takes 4 movements. Why is a piano so hard to open? Because the keys are on the inside. Why did the pianist keep banging his head against the keys? He was playing by ear. What type of music are balloons afraid of? Pop.
I should have seen that one coming.
Why did the music teacher go up on the ladder during music class? To reach the high notes. Why did the fish make such a good musician? He knew his scales. What's the most musical part of your body? Your nose, because you can blow and pick it. What makes songs but never sings? Notes. Why did the grandma sit in the rocking chair with the rollerblades on? Because she wanted to rock and roll. What's big and gray with horns? An elephant in a marching band. Which elf was the best singer? Elvis Presley.
All right. Give us your last few good ones.
Why did Mozart get rid of his chickens? They kept saying, bok, 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 bok.
Oh, no.
What makes music on your head? A headband. What's the difference between a fish and a piano? You can't tune a fish.
Oh.
Why couldn't the athlete listen to her music? Because she broke the record.
Beautiful. Thank you, Jefe, for those jokes with Jefe. Well, I think this podcast is finally over.
Yeah, we've finally reached March 3rd.
Oh, yeah. It's March 3rd now. Mm-hmm. Well, it's time to do a new history with Jefe.
And you know what that means.
Oh, what does that mean?
7-Eleven stopped selling beer now, so now I got to go home
and open up those steel reserves?
I don't even have those. There's nothing at my house.
All right. All right, well, everyone, thank you for listening to episode 25, Balls and Beats. It's been fun. You guys are a good audience. And, of course, we got to send off this episode with some simple reminders. Make sure to follow us on the social medias. We're on Instagram, X, Facebook, but we're most interactive on Instagram, if we're being real with you guys. And drop us a line, simpletimespodcast@gmail.com. We will talk about your message on the show. Thank you for listening to us wherever you listen to podcasts. We are on Spotify, Apple, and wherever else you listen to podcasts. Yeah. Any final words, Marcelo?
Let's just get going. I mean, we both need to sleep.
We desperately need sleep.
You gotta go to church tomorrow, and I gotta get to some more soccer matches tomorrow.
Nice. Sounds like a fun day for the both of us. Why do we keep doing this to ourselves?
I don't know.
Good night, y'all. Well, good night for us, but we don't know what time of the day you're listening to this.
This is definitely not a podcast we're going to end on time. So.
Peace.
Tie this up. Aha!